That's what happens. And maybe that's going to happen with the Knicks now. 888-SAY-ESPN, 729-3776. BJ in Brooklyn, you're on the Max Kellerman Show, ESPN Radio. Oh, Casey's there? Casey Powell, CP the franchise. Welcome to the show, founder of Knicks Fan TV, here on the Goodyear Hotline. Casey, you there? I can't hear you, Casey.
You can't hear me?
Now I got you. So welcome to the wonderful world of Raj Grobes, my producer, who not only doesn't tell me you're there, so I'm going on waiting for you to call in, but then doesn't have the sound set up. Okay, good job, Raj. Now, Casey, all right, what are you pointing to? You pointed to your hat.
This is 3 to the dome, Max. This is 3 to the dome. You used to know it well as a former Knicks fan. This is the call sign to Knicks Nation.
Yeah, Knicks Nation. Why? Okay, let me ask you something. Casey, why are you so loyal to this franchise who's not only done nothing but stink for all of you? How old are you?
36.
So your whole life they've stunk. Basically, your whole life they've stunk. And you have
no. I went through the Ewing years, Max.
Oh, you're 36 years old. How old were you when Patrick Ewing was in his prime?
I was a good 8 years old. That's when I came into the game. Right there, Knicks Bulls, Knicks Pacers, Knicks Heat.
Hold on a second. 36 years ago, let me just do this math right now. It's 2021, carry the one. We get there to 2015, 1985. You were born in 1985. You were born in 1985.
1984. Do your Googles, man. I was there. I was there for the dunk. You see the dunk behind me? It's right behind me. Classic days.
All right, even if that was the case, you barely knew what was going on at the time. What have they done for you since then, Casey?
Listen, Max, it's been a hard 20 years since we traded the captain. You know this. It's been a hard 20 years from, the Houston $100 million contract to the Marbury era to, bringing in Carmelo and Stat. Knicks tape was good. 52 wins, second in the East.
One year of getting to the playoffs and not getting out of the first round. You're celebrating that. You see, this is what I mean about the mind. They can't, like, of an abused Knicks fan. You accept it. You're like, oh, they're good to me sometimes. One time in 20 years, we got to the playoffs. Didn't win a series.
Max, you have sold out.
You're right.
You used to be in these New York streets.
That's right.
They used to call you the general.
That's right.
They used to call you the general. They used to salute you. You used to call it down the middle, objective. With the Knicks.
Objective.
You were a diehard Knicks fan.
Casey, I was never objective. I was a Knicks propagandist. What do you mean? I was giving you Knicks propaganda. I was celebrating Eddie Curry. What do you mean straight down the middle? I was out of my
Eddie Curry. I have notes from Knicks fans who said when Eddie Curry was beasting in 06 and 07.
Yeah.
One Max Kellerman said there aren't 5 guys in the NBA that he would trade Eddie Curry for.
I was lying.
We got it on tape.
I was lying.
We got it on tape.
That's okay. I was lying. Not only that, I was hoping.
Number one.
I had my Knicks goggles on. I was hoping. He was beasting. He was scoring. And I was hoping, but that's what I mean. Casey Powell, CP, the franchise, founder of Knicks Fan TV on the Goodyear Hotline, Max Kellerman Show, ESPN Radio. By the way, you know why you're on? Because we tried to get Chuck D. Chuck is slammed. He does the show when he can. He said, you got to have Casey Powell on. He'd be great. And we said, all right, Chuck D recommended. Casey's on the show. Now,
the
Casey,
fan base has appointed me.
I understand.
With the duties of confronting the haters. They have put me in this seat.
You got it.
That is what Knicks Fan TV
is all about. It's
you're
talking to a hater right now, Casey. You're talking to a hater right now. Now, listen, this is what I'm talking about. When you're a Knicks fan, you have to pretend Eddie Curry's great. You have to hope that David Lee, I once said I wouldn't trade him for Kevin Garnett. I drank the Knicks Kool-Aid, and I was also selling Knicks Kool-Aid. I was peddling Knicks Kool-Aid. But I got off no time served because finally it occurred to me that I cannot root for a James Dolan-owned team. Casey, do you know what it was like dealing with the Knicks in those days? Do you know what it was like dealing with them? When I got to L.A., dealing with the Lakers was a pleasure. Even when they stunk and I was criticizing Jim Buss, it was easy to deal with the Lakers. You know what dealing with the Knicks is like?
I do, but this is what happens. When you leave home and you go Hollywood, you forgot where you came from, Kellerman. Right. Where is the honor in front running? So you went to L.A. now. They won a championship. What did it do for you? How did you feel when they won that championship?
It made me feel good.
It was empty.
No, it made me feel good.
It was empty.
It made me feel good. Would it have felt as good as if the Knicks won a championship and I rode with them the whole time? Of course not. But that's the point, Casey. They're never winning a championship.
It's all a part of the journey. It is
What journey?
all a part of the journey. We are on a journey right now, Max Kellerman. This is why you have me on. This is why you have me on. 18-17, number 4 in the East. Put some respect on our name.
Yeah.
All right? Mainstream media has been dragging us through the mud. LOL, Knicks. And now when they're trying to have sensible topics, sensible conversation about the team, they sound foolish. Because they can't even come back to the middle because the Knicks fan, the smartest fan, the most sophisticated fan in all of NBA fandom is not having it. No, wait, you have been exposed. The mainstream media has been exposed. You had one guy come on this station the other day and say that Austin Rivers was the reason for the Knicks' success recently. Austin Rivers. He hasn't been relevant in months. Casey, he hasn't played in weeks.
I call it like I see it on the Knicks now. And when they're playing hard, I'll admit it, they're playing well. They're an exciting team to watch. And eventually, maybe a superstar will demand a trade there. That'll be the first time in my lifetime. I'm 47 years old, not 36 years old. Like 40, almost a half a century. I haven't seen it. And so that's great. Like, let them do it. But the bottom line is you're still dealing with a team whose owner escorts fans from Madison Square Garden for having a sign that says Fire Dolan, who kicked Charles Oakley when you were still in diapers, Casey. Casey Powell, CP, the franchise founder of Knicks Fan TV, when you were still in diapers. I was standing online around the block for Knicks tickets so my brother and I could go to Knicks playoff games, sit in the nosebleeds, and watch Charles Oakley dive on the hardwood for the loose ball. And that man was escorted from Madison Square Garden by Jim Dolan and his henchmen. Yeah. What do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, what happened with Oak? I said this to Oak. I had Oak on my show, Knicks Fan TV, number 1 show for the fans by the fans, CP the franchise on the check-in. I had Oak on my show telling us about the whole situation. I told him it was a terrible thing that happened. It should have never have happened. But Max, it takes 2 to tango. Charles Oakley shows up at the Knicks game and chooses not Celebrity Row, but chooses right behind the owner. It takes 2 to tango.
Wait, hold up. You see what you're doing?
Thrown out.
Stop right there, Casey. You see what you're doing? You have been acclimated to Jim Dolan's nonsense to the point where you're like, you can't sit behind the owner and have something to say without getting escorted out.
You think, man.
Well, let me say, the Lakers, when I was a kid, Knicks had 2 chips, Lakers had 6, Celtics had 13. And I'd play one-on-one with my brother, and I'd be like, fantasize that I'm this player, that player, and you know, at that point, we're choosing up Lakers and Celtics because they're always in the finals, right? And I thought to myself, maybe if the Knicks get to do this and this, they'll catch the Lakers one day. And then maybe by the time I'm 47 years old, they'll have more championships than the Celtics. In fact, the Knicks have won 0 since then. The Lakers have won 11 now.
So
Casey,
you ran.
The point is this.
You ran is what you're saying.
The point
you ran.
Well, maybe. But the point,
you ran.
I got no shame in my game.
There's no honor in front running, Max.
Whatever.
Kellerman.
Maybe there's no honor. I have no shame either.
I'm not going to L.A. I'm in the mud. I'm in the mud with the
you are in the mud.
In all of the NBA.
That's right. You are in the mud. That's the point.
Yeah.
And here is the thing about the Lakers. You know, you could sit behind one of the Bus kids or even Dr. Bus when he was alive, and you could shout something for the other team. You think they're going to have you escorted from Staples Center? What kind of low-class nonsense garbage is that? But you accept that. You're like, oh, it takes 2.
I'm not accepting it.
What? You just said it takes 2 to tango.
I'm not making excuses for Dolan. Don't get me wrong. But first
off,
if you come into my building, if you come into my establishment and talk garbage and try to derail me from watching the game of my team, I have the right to do whatever I want. I'm not here caping for Dolan. He's made his mistakes. He's made boneheaded moves. I'd be the first one to tell you. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to run just because the team is not doing well.
Wait till
here we are.
Wait till you're 47. We'll see. Yeah.
18-17, 4th in the East. Put some respect on our name. We're playing hard on the Tom Thibodeau. Where does the Dolan stuff come from?
You're acting like they did 18-17, 4th in the East.
That's why I'm here.
It's like their bar mitzvah all of a sudden. 18-17, Casey. Who cares? 18-17.
Who cares? ESPN cares. This is why I'm here on the Max Kellerman Show. It is the talk of the town. The New York Knicks are the story of the first half of the NBA. Put some respect on our name.
All right,
we were in the garbage last year. We were in the garbage. One of the worst defenses last year.
We're up against the commercial break right now. We're going to continue this conversation. You want to come back next week?
I'd love to. Anytime.
All right, KC's coming back next week to continue this. We'll see how the Knicks do between now and then. All right, listen, everybody.
YouTube.com, Knicks Fan TV, #1 show for the fans.
Let me explain.
See you guys
Casey
at the Knicks
Powell,
Spurs
it's
post-game.
CP the franchise, founder
the franchise,
of Knicks
the franchise.
Fan
I'm for
TV.
the fans, by the fans.
For the fans, by the fans. Yes, there he is. Casey Powell, ladies and gentlemen. Casey, thanks for coming on. We will continue this. Says, I'm running.
Round two.
Claims he's not keeping for Dolan. Oh, we'll continue it. That was Straight Talk Wireless. No comment.